Leslie is here. Stacy,
Here.
Lael,
Here.
and Phil.
Here.
Sue is here as well. Leslie's here.
Here.
Jerry. Well, Jerry is here too.
Yeah.
All right. Mimi, not here. Do we have Mimi's contact information? Is she okay? I just want to make sure she's doing fine. And maybe one of us, I have emailed her. I have not heard from her. Does anybody have her phone number and can reach out to her?
I don't think I have her phone number. I would love to reach out to her.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, either we'll talk to.
Are you talking about Sue? I'm sorry, were you trying to get to Sue Chapu? I have her cell phone number.
No, Mimi Breyer.
Yeah, but what about Sue Chapu? Was that the person?
Sue is on the wrong link. I've sent her the right link via email, but if anyone has her phone number,
I just
text her. That would be awesome.
I just texted it to her.
Thank you so much.
I will talk to the town manager about Mimi because she hasn't been coming in. Okay, maybe we should mute that one. So everybody can hear me over here, right? So let's just use that. Okay, oral communications for items not on the agenda. Does anybody have any oral communication items not on the agenda would like to communicate here? No. Okay. I sent the minutes from last meeting. I would like to, can somebody call to approve the meeting?
I called to approve the meeting.
I second.
All right. Do we all vote to approve the meeting?
Aye.
Approve. Okay. We do not have any item on the old business. We finished all our events. Thank you so much, Stacy, for organizing the photo exhibit. And thank you so much, Steve, for organizing the creative fair. Both have been very well received. And it just, it really shows the spirit of our community, which is to bring together the community through the arts. So thank you so much, and hopefully we'll do them again next year, which is why on to the old business. So new business, there's only one item on the new business, which is the budget for next year. I have received two submissions at the time of me drafting this agenda, and then subsequently Stacy requested something else. So that one is not on the agenda. I have to turn in the agenda, 48 hours before the meeting starts. So if you want anything to be on the agenda, submit it timely. So let's talk about Steve. Steve, you submitted your receipt. I think you spent about $300, and you also spent $880 out of pocket. So what is the budget you would like to request for the creative fair next year?
Actually, the only thing I had to turn in was $233 from Safeway. I just got everything at Safeway, and so $233, and I felt that was more than enough food there and everything, and so that seemed fine. And the only thing we didn't take into account is I spent about $85 at FedEx making some nice posters to spread around. I will tell you, I will report back. I was a little frustrated with a couple of places. I went to Rosati's to post it, and they said we don't repost them here. It's like, really? Because all the people in Portola Valley eat there. It's like,
really?
So they refused. And I was a little surprised at Conditori. They would only put it around the corner where the bathroom is, which nobody sees. So, but Bianchini's, thumbs up for them. They were fabulous.
Bianchini's always amazing.
And the hardware store was great. And actually the UPS store they put it really prominently when you came in. Mm. And I thought those were great places for people to see it because, everybody goes to the UPS store of some kind.
Okay.
But I would have liked to have, I didn't really think of it till like 2.5 weeks before, but next year I would want to do it a little bit earlier and work a little harder getting posted. So that was $85, but I could get a little bit smaller poster next year, and that gave me, I think, 7 posters. So I think with the same $85 level plus inflation, maybe $100. So if you could give me 350, I'll take it. If you can only do 300, that's fine. But
350.
yeah. Now you will notice that I did send you a request for a donation letter for
Yes.
the 85, which I can then take off my taxes. So I'll take that. And then the 233 just straight reimbursement. So no, I think 250. Maybe with inflation 275, and then with the posters, $100 budget's fine. If you need to trim it back, that's fine. So we're talking maybe 350, something like that, for next year, only because things will be more expensive, I'm sure, by next year. And this is, of course, assuming you want to do this again next year. I don't mean to be presumptuous. I don't know. I mean, is that something you want to do?
Well, we can vote on two things. One, do we want to proceed with a creative fair next year? It's not so much a vote, we can just talk about. I personally think it's a wonderful event. And I think everyone supports it. So you're not being presumptuous at all. We are all here to support you. And 350, that sounds very reasonable. And then given the fact there's quite a bit of inflation, I think that's what we should be expecting next year. Yeah. Jerry, I'm going to ask you for guidance on this. Do we vote on every single budget request, or since this is the entire meeting, it's really an open discussion about budget for next year, do I just take notes and then really consolidate my notes and write up the overall budget for the town manager as part of my submission? You're on mute. Jerry, you're on mute.
Paige used to go through the whole budget. John Richards was usually there, and then we'd vote on it. John went through pretty much line by line. And, we would just kind of nod our heads and agree, like, I want to see Steve put on the Creative Arts Fair again. And I think 350 is reasonable. And then we go on to the next item.
Okay, so not a formal vote. So just stay informally. Does everybody think 350?
Formal vote at the end.
Good? Oh, at the end. Okay. But this item, does anybody have a feedback for Steve for 350 for next year? Creative Fair? No. Okay.
Sounds reasonable.
I think we're good. By the way, Steve, I have written to Darcy, the town manager, requesting the the donation letter for tax purposes. I have not heard from her.
That's fine.
Now, I've only got back to kind of on my feet yesterday, so I sent out the email yesterday.
No problem. We'll get around to it. I have okay. All right. Well,
I think that's it. Thank you. Thank you, Steve.
Well, thank you. It was a lot of fun. So thanks for sponsoring it. I can give you feedback on the fact that I had a number of people come up to me later saying it was an absolutely wonderful evening. They enjoyed it so much. I think when you do something like that for the first time, you're sort of establishing, what it is. So I think next year will be easier because I can refer back to last year, number one. Number two, I think it's a valuable contribution that we're making because I asked Elizabeth what it costs to rent that room, and it's $2,700. And I provided the sound system, and I've had friends that have had to get quotes on a similar type of lease for a day, and they've gotten quotes for around $2,200. So it's basically, including the snacks, it's basically a $5,400 event for $350. And so it's a fantastic thing that we're offering as an opportunity.
Yeah.
The kids loved it. They loved walking into a cool setting like that and everything else. It was absolutely wonderful. So thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity. Okay.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for putting that on. Fantastic. Okay. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.
The next one on the agenda, of course, we can talk about additional events under other business. On the agenda is the speaker event. We had discussed about the speaker event this year. I think next year I would like to sponsor 2 speaker events at $500 per event. The market rate for speaker compensation is $400, and another $100 for very simple, as in some cheese, crackers, and fruits, nothing elaborate, and also taking into consideration of inflation. I don't even know $100, but $500 is what I'm asking for, and for 2 events. So the town has really requested for all the committees to kind of align our events. I do think as a show of solidarity and just to be good sport, right? Like we want to be easy to work with, that we really should participate. And what I said is, I don't want to take up all the weekends, all the Fridays, or whichever day they suggested. Let me take 2, and that gives the opportunity for other communities to also participate on the designated day. So let's just start with that 2, and those are the budget. Does anybody have any feedback, or are we good? I mean, about the event as well as the budget.
I think it sounds great.
Fantastic. Okay. Now on to other business. This is when if you did not submit your budget in time to make to the agenda and you would like to talk about sponsoring other events for next year.
Could I say something?
Yes,
I
Leah.
haven't had the chance to meet with Sue yet, but I think it would be nice to do the limerick contest for next year, just be a little more organized in advance. And,
Yeah.
that was just so last minute, and the website and this, that, and the other. But just like very small, like we were going to do it this year, maybe just, be able to post like a small budget, like $100 for
Okay.
like,
100.
for people who want to get together and read them.
Okay. That sounds good to me. I think that's a wonderful event. My only suggestion is, and then this nothing has to do with events. Maybe next year, not for this meeting, but for next meeting, keep us in mind is we should spread out. We're very bottom heavy. The spring, everything. There's Limerick, there's creative fair, there's photo contest, and then so I was intending to spread out the 2 speaker events, one in the fall, one in late spring, summer. But we should just consider that to maybe to have a more balanced schedule. So, but the Limerick context sounds really good to me. Does anybody have any feedback on the event? We're all sounds good. Leslie?
I'd like to be considered as a possible speaker. I know a committee member or 2 have brought that up, and I'd be very happy to do that. So, and please consider me.
I second that.
Thank you.
Heard that. And it's hard sometimes to find a speaker, so this is wonderful.
Wonderful.
We can put you in early so we're not spring heavy.
Okay.
Very good. Thanks.
Okay. Anyone else? I guess no comments on the Limerick, the contest. We would like to continue with that event and with a proposed budget of $100.
Right.
Okay. Any other events for next year? Yes, Stacy.
I'd love to host the photo contest again. The budget is a little tricky. I think depending on if we want to have a big party or not associated with it, that would be the food. And if we want to do just light food versus, something more elaborate that was beautiful that Ivy put together. And then whether or not we want to include a workshop again, which made the event larger. And I think it had some really positive aspects to it. But if we want to not have a workshop, that would bring the cost down as well. And then right now, the expenses from the photo contest include the website, and I'm not sure what the rules are around just having like a general expense, or if the website needs to be built into the cost of an event.
So the website was never approved as a part of so let's talk about, there are 2 things. Do you have a proposed budget for next year?
Well, if I'm not wrapping it in, then I think like a 1,500 would cover the cost of marketing and printing of photos. And I would try to go under if I can find an underwriting for the photos.
So you're asking for $1,500 for the photo context. Okay.
Yeah.
And what does that include? Give
Um,
me a breakdown. You know how Steve provided a breakdown, this much for poster, this much for food.
Yeah, so it's tricky. So the printing this year costs $555 because we had more entries than I had budgeted for.
Mhm.
The guest artist was 400. The marketing materials was at 126. And the prizes was at 300, and I think we could do less for the prizes. I think we could probably do like 200 for the prizes. And then the food, I believe, was at 1,000. And if we're okay not going big, I think the food could be at like 200.
What was 126?
126 was the marketing materials.
I'm
Hold on.
wondering,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm wondering if you have looked at various print shops to be able to, help make it less expensive. I have had wonderful service
marketing.
always from Precision Graphics in Redwood City. And I get the feeling that, so they do really good work, and I get the feeling that they are really lower priced than just about anywhere else.
Got it. So Leslie, are you talking about the printing of the photos or the jet? Because the $126 for a banner and flyers felt very reasonable to me.
Okay.
Because I did I think I had like 20, 25 to 30 flyers plus some bigger signs to say where the photo contest was plus a banner. So the thing that
Great.
the printing of the photos themselves is what was, more costly. And I'm not quite sure how to get that price down. And that one's variable because it all depends on how many people submit photos.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you
Yeah.
did your cost comparison already.
Yeah,
That's
I
good.
definitely did. But thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Okay. So I want to make sure I understand what's your total budget you're requesting. Photo printing, you're requesting 550, speaker 400, marketing 126, prices 300, food you're requesting 200. Okay.
Yes.
All right. What about your website?
Well, so
The website was, let's be very,
Yeah.
I mean, this is just the facts, right? The website came to be was because it was never approved as a part of the original budget.
Sure.
And it was when it came about to be, we never reapproved it. And
Yeah.
I think we kind of just pushed, move forward. But nevertheless, it was used to receive photo. So are you not planning to use the website to receive photo?
I would like to, but I don't
Okay,
know
so
the
how
best
much is
way
that?
to move forward.
How much is it? What's the price for the website?
Well, is it just for the event or for the whole year? So in order for the website to work, it's sort of a yearly fee.
Okay.
And then all the different events could use it.
What is the cost for the website?
That's a good question. I only have what we've charged so far, so I can get back to you. Let me
Why don't you
figure
take
that
a few
out.
minutes?
Yeah,
And then
let me
we
figure
do
it out.
need to have that number as we, as the group discuss the budget for next year. It is important for us to know exactly how much we spend and where we're asking for the town, and then where we're asking for the town for next year. Okay, we need to be very concrete about what we ask for the town and provide a reason. And you have any kind of receipt? I mean, I would imagine you have all the components for the website. So let's just add that up. Let you do that. Let's talk about does anybody have any feedback on, let me just go through the line item and then just to see if anybody has any feedback. So photo printing, I think we need to be realistic. That currently this year is $550, and that is dictated by the number of submissions. I think we should only expect that to grow next year. So I would say this year and next year. So the question is, if we need to have more submission, do we cap the submission because we don't have, that's the budget? Or are we willing to ask for a higher budget? And that's really the question for Stacy as well. But let me open up the floor to everyone. Well, give some time for Stacy to give us the concrete numbers on the website. Yes, Jerry?
When we did it in the past,
Mhm.
each of the entries was printed by the person submitting them. We
Okay.
did not print them for them. And then they came and we displayed them in the windows. Mimi and Sue and I took everything down and we put them in the windows. And then we had a time when they came and picked them up. And we met them there and gave them back. When Farrar contacted me, she wanted the photo back. I believe it was of her dad by the cherry block.
Right.
And she was told they were all thrown away.
No, I have them all.
I
So
didn't think that.
I am, no,
Good.
nothing's been
I
thrown
told
away.
her I just didn't believe that. I said we would not throw away someone's artistic work.
I don't have the number. That's fine. I just respond. Absolutely.
So I was just telling Stacy, let's give her some of the time. It's very important we have the numbers as part of my submission. So let's just give her some minute, some time to do that. So Jerry, I like that idea. When you guys did that, that also took away the need to have a website, right? We didn't need to have a website. How did you guys receive the photos?
They brought them to us at a specific time and then we did the setup. And then the ones that we retrieved from the school, I went over and just picked them up from the schools. They were in the front office waiting.
So there were physical submissions. Okay.
Mhm. And you
Okay.
know, you can print,
Okay.
I don't know how the quality isn't the same, but you could print on your computer with photo paper if you've got a good laser printer.
Okay. That is something for us to think about. I like that because that's going to limit it's not so much the budget. What I see, that's a huge amount of liability off of the town. The reason why we had to have the website is we can limit the liability for the town, which we're kind of in a no man's land because we, as this committee, frankly, Stacy is the one that's receiving all this intellectual property and private information, personal information from each, from the people who submit. Now, we're a small town. People are, we're in polite society. Things like, I doubt people is going to be very particular about handling personal information. But nevertheless, as this event grows, we should consider that. So the physical submission, to me, the best part about that is that it takes away all the legal liability from us and also the administrative overhead, not just in terms of money, but time to oversee the submission. But we can come back to talk about that. So the speaker, do we want to have speaker again next year?
It sounds like we're interested in simplifying the event, so I'm going to say we won't have a speaker. I think it was super well received this year, but I'm all about simple, so I'm okay eliminating that from the budget.
But I want to hear from also from the team. I mean, I honestly don't have, I'm neutral on this topic. It is the more opportunity for the community to get together, I think the better. But I want to kind of talk about. So I think Leslie, you had your hands up.
Yeah, I'm chagrined that I missed it because I would have loved to hear it. So I'm wondering, was there any recording or or script that's available anywhere?
It was event intended to be recorded. In fact, we talked about this, the whole point of having a speaker on on that particular day. We voted for it to be recorded. And that's also, it was intended that the recording will be available and it will be public asset. So people who can't make it can look at it, but that did not happen. So next year, if we do move forward with speaker, it has to happen that the the information must be made available public.
Okay.
Great. So I didn't have enough support that day and I was running the PowerPoint presentation.
Mhm.
I would like to just eliminate the speaker and simplify the event. If someone else wants to take over the photo contest, I'm totally fine someone else running it. I just felt I loved doing the photo contest this year, but I felt like it was larger than I have the capacity to do by myself, some of the prep stuff. So while I do think it was well received, I'd be interested in sort of taking a step back and having it just be the photo contest itself. And I'm super excited to explore, like Jerry mentioned, different ways of printing. And it could be like, maybe I think if someone doesn't have the means to print and wants help, then they can reach out and I can, suggest different places to print. But I'd like to find a way to eliminate some of the tasks that were on my end. But I still loved it. And I got so many great, even now I'm still running into people saying how much they enjoyed the photo contest itself. And I felt like we had a ton of volunteer support at the contest. It was just leading up to the contest that there was a lot of extra legwork that I'd like to eliminate anything possible.
So, so in that case, I'm going to eliminate the speaker event, or do we have volunteer to essentially to take over at that event?
Who was the speaker? And if we contacted them now for the date, would they come back and do it again? And
It
did
was
we pay them,
yeah.
or did they get a gift? Like, if Leslie speaks, be sure we put some money in. We always buy a nice plant or an orchid to give to our speakers.
So the speaker was Stacy's husband, and we allocated $400 for him. And as of now, we have not paid him yet because we have not asked for reimbursement. So we have the speaker, and I'm sure either your husband or someone else we can find to come back. The issue here is who's going to be doing all the running the event on the day of. I think Stacy mentioned that she's not able to do that on the day of. Like she can. What exactly do you need help with?
Sure. So after having seen it run too, so he had a PowerPoint presentation that we made available on the website so anyone could look through it afterwards. A lot of it was interacting with the people in the room. And so he would pose the question on the presentation and then everyone sort of like communally gave their responses. And then it was a lot of back and forth with the people that were in the space, which I think is hard when you're also doing it. Like, I think you can either hold it on, sort of a digital content meeting, or you can do it in person. Seeing it, like, it's very difficult to have someone teach both online and in person at the same time. It's doable, but that's a lot of pressure to put on someone. And then if you're also pausing to let people online speak, because again, it was very interactive. And then there was also pauses. People brought photos, and then he and everyone else kind of gave feedback. And they talked about, colors, feelings and emotions, angles and focus areas, and then also different techniques, whether you're using a professional camera versus a cell phone. So I just don't know that it would have recorded well now that I've seen it in person. And I was the one sort of having the slides go forward. And so then you would also need a moderator for interacting with someone online. So I I don't think it's a good idea to record it now that I've seen it in person. So I'm just putting that out there.
So does anybody want to, so the speaker event seems to be, it's a day, it's basically ministering the event on the day of. Do we have a volunteer to do that on the day of? If we don't have a volunteer, then we're not going to include that as a part of photo contest next year.
Can I just say something? I'm
Yeah.
not volunteering for that. It was my understanding, but Stacy, please correct me if I'm wrong, that part of the speaker, concept was to get more children involved. Maybe
Yeah.
we could put like more effort into school outreach. And I know like me seeing that when I work full time, and I'm not going to be doing the school outreach. But maybe like there's other ways to get, more kids involved, because I think that could be really, I think that's what was the only thing missing, is that we had every adult was interested. It was beautiful. Just get those kids a little more interested somehow. I don't know how.
Yeah. And so at the school level, it was great because an email went out and we did have a student attend the workshop. There's no STEAM teacher this year at the elementary school or at the middle school, like at CMS and Ormondale, there was no STEAM teacher. And that would have been our best point of contact to just build it into the curriculum. Anyway, so I think they'll have one next year, and I think that's an amazing suggestion, and I'd be really excited to explore that. I'd be willing to have like $400 towards, trying to engage more with the schools. And I'm not sure exactly what that money would be needed for, but to allocate it for those resources would make sense.
So what do you want me to write it down? I mean, what I need to, for the purpose,
School engagement.
school engagement?
Instead of the speaker, the school engagement, I think would be great.
$400? What is that used for?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how much I think it's hard to put a price on a concept that I haven't had a chance to think through yet. I'm happy to not have that line item and then come back and vote on it later, but I think the amounts right now.
So what I need is submit the budget for each event, including the line item for each event.
Yeah.
And I need to do that by this Friday. And according to Jerry, we kind of need to, as a group, agree to that today.
That makes
So
sense.
that's the reason.
Could I pose this question to everybody else? How much do you think it would cost to engage with this? Because I usually need to sit and think that through, but it sounds like we need a total right now. Oh, Jerry, I think you're muted.
We can't hear you, Jerry.
The
now
dog,
you're good.
the dog was coughing, and so I muted myself so not to bother us. The art teacher at CMS and the former principal, they did everything. It didn't cost anything for the school outreach, and same with Ormdale.
Great.
Lynette just said, give it to me and I'll run it off, and it'll go in the teacher's boxes. So it would be very minimal. The most we would have to do is buy a ream of paper and somebody type something up and get it to the schools. So that's not $400.
Okay.
I would like to listen to John Richards' words when he was our liaison. He said, put it in the budget because you can't go back and ask for it later. We may want to have a speaker, so leave the $400 in. If we don't use it, that's fine. We have it. We may run over costs for food on something or whatever. It's always best to leave it in the budget. I have another second important thing. Just because Stacy signs up to do, and I've been terrible this year, so I apologize. But just because Stacy signs up to do the photography again, and Leslie signs up to be the speaker, that doesn't mean the rest of us are doing nothing. We should be at every event. I mean, I drug myself to Steve's thing out of a sick bed. You need to support each other, and I know a lot of you are new, but it's never been this way before. we always helped one another. Somebody was setting the food up while the photography person, Sue and I and Mimi were hanging the stuff. And, it just, we have to be more of a team. And I think when somebody signs up for something, they become isolated and doing it on their own. And that's not the best way for cultural arts to work. Sorry, but I have to say it.
Thank you, Jerry. I thank you for those wise words. So I'm going to put the $400 back in for speaker, and then marketing 126. Is that what would you like proposed for next year?
Yeah. I'd like to do 150 for marketing.
Okay.
And my goal would be to not use it if we don't need it. So yeah. And then I think just really understanding whether or not we want a website.
So price, we'll go through
Yeah.
a line item by line item. So prices, you have $300 for this year, and next year you say you want 200 for
Yeah.
prices? Okay. Does that mean we're gonna have fewer prices?
So right, this year they were $50. And I feel like the prizes could be 25. And I don't know exactly how many categories yet, which is why,
Okay.
I got a lot of great
Okay.
feedback about potentially some different categories that
Okay.
I'd like to explore.
All right.
Yeah.
For the website, what was the number that what's the cost for website this year?
So the website this year is going to be $700 for the year. And so there's a monthly fee for hosting, there's the domain, and then there's also the Google space that you have to pay for, which includes the drive and the email.
We're 10 minutes in, so I really want to get this budget surrounded. Are you asking for $700 next?
I think so. Does it have to be wrapped into, does it wrap into an event?
We can talk about this right now.
Great.
Okay. So $700. So you don't think the fees are going to be?
I mean, it might, maybe
750?
Yeah, 750. That sounds great.
I think inflation are at a historic high right now at 5%. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, 735. We're going to do 750. Okay. Okay. For food, I oversaw the party. I was the one that advocated, to Jerry's point. I came out and help out for this event. I really do think there's something incredible value in having a good party, right? And I think some people did come out dressed up a little bit. And I do think that, and a lot of people had a great time.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
very much would like to continue that. The budget was initially allocated $700, and I think we went over by 300. So I'm going to continue to use that for $1,000 for food. Now, maybe we'll do something a little bit different. It was very difficult to do as one person. So next year,
You did have some help.
yeah, I mean, even to procure, and then I think all day we had 3 people. We had 4 volunteers. It was by far the most time consuming. It was 4 people working nonstop. And as a lawyer, I like to think about in terms of hours. That is, so I chimed in 12 hours between 2 days on food. And we have 4 volunteers. Each volunteered, I believe, 3 hours. And then so that's 12 plus 12, 24 hours to have that party put on. That was a lot of hours. But I think people really liked it. So but obviously I'm open to suggestions about next year, whether or not we'll continue with the party. And next year, I think we do have the party. We'll probably do a better job marketing it. I think when people came, they were like, this is amazing. I wish I knew. I would have asked all my friends to come out. Really have a party.
I think the party was amazing. I got lots of feedback about how people got to, you know, hang out with each other and have community, and they loved it. So, and the spread was gorgeous. I'd like to consider having it be like a closing party instead of an opening one, because then we can announce the winners and everyone can go home with their photos.
That's good.
Oh, that's a really interesting idea, closing party. Well, we can talk about
Yeah.
the details because Sunday night, school day, the next day. Well, we'll talk about that. Maybe have two parties. We can always have more parties. So the only thing that's not in I do want to go back to, is that all the line items for the photo?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I think that's
Okay. I have the tally right here.
great. Okay.
Now, photo printing, I want to go back. So, Jerry, I really liked your suggestion about having people to submit it. But may I suggest we leave that, to your point, guidance earlier, let's leave that in the budget. Let's leave that in the budget because we can always ask, they can say no. And then once we're in the budget, we can decide what to do next year, whether we print it or have people submit it, because I think there's a value in both, right? There's a value in people printing it, and there's a value in us printing it because the quality, that looked like a professional photo exhibit because the quality of the print. There's something about, you know, it just, the quality of that exhibit definitely was at a different level because we printed it. So may I suggest we leave a $500 even next year? And that is a very modest request because most likely we're going to receive more requests and that's going to be more. And then that's going to be, or maybe 550, like the way we ask. So for now, the photo print is, we're asking for 550, same as this year. Speaker $400, marketing $150. That is a $24 increase compared to this year, given the inflation for printing. Prices were going down to $200 versus the $300 we use this year because we want to do lower per price. And the website is $700. We're doing $750, and for food we're staying at even $1,000 to reflect the spend this year. So that is a total of $3,050 for the event. We can talk about when we submit it, whether or not we want to have the website be as a line item under photo exhibit or as a standalone. But for now, these are all the components needed to run the event. Do we have any feedback on this submission? If not, this is what I will submit to the town.
Good.
Okay. All right. So I think the last question is about the website. How do we want to present it to the town? Before we talk about that as a strategic submission, and I have some feedback, I think how we should present it is I want to understand just maybe quickly, do we want to use it for other events than photo exhibit?
If you've got a website, that would certainly make sense to use it for all of our activity there on the CAC.
I think it could also, if we do move forward with it, it can serve as an archive of past events as well. And so there's some positive for that.
Okay. So this is what I do, right? This is how I get paid in limited daytime. How you framing things impacts whether we get things done. Now, the reason if we frame it as part of photo exhibit, we're not only going to get the budget, but we're also going to get the approval. The reason why is it was not us, but the town requested it for us to get the website. If we frame it and present it as a standalone website, i.e., of all as a CAC committee that we want to have our own website for marketing purposes, then they're going to look at other committees as which other committee has a website? And I believe the answer to that question is 0.
Okay.
Okay. So may I suggest for the purpose of budgeting, submission, and approval for the website is we present it as a line item for the photo exhibit. And we push that through, knowing that, we want to use it for other events. Now, for all other events, the usage is quite simple, right? Is Limerick, we put up like a few words. Photo, the creative fair, we're just saying, hey, come out. I don't think there will be any kind of submission. I do want to say is when we use it for other events, let's make sure we don't receive personal identifiable information, because then gets us a little bit of, it's this trickier for us to push it through with a town legally, right? It triggers legal issues, then make things unpleasant, drawn out. I think for now is if we just use it for what it is posting up, say, hey, this is a marketing, we have this event, come and see us. This is who we are. Then we'll have no problem getting the budget and maintaining a website. That will be my guidance and advice to the committee on how to maintain that website. Any feedback?
I guess the question is, do we want to maintain the email account or should we shut that down?
I really don't think we should be using that email account as openly as we have been. If you want to ask my, other than receiving the photo exhibit, which is requested by the town for us to do, I
Okay.
don't think we should have that as an open-ended email. We have personal email addresses. People can email me if they have questions. Everyone on the town committee, all the other town committees, they do that. But for now, we just, as a good practice, let's not have that as an open email. Again, it takes us for us time to grow, but as we're growing as a community, I would just say, let's not create problems when we don't need them, right? And work. That's a lot of work to monitor that email address. So
Okay, and so I can work on shutting them down then. And it does mean that we won't accept digital submissions for the photo contest next year, because the only way to do that would be
we
to
talked
hope-
about, hold on a second.
Yeah.
We said we have the email address to submit digital
Okay,
content.
so keep it, just don't use it for correspondence.
Just email. We're not going to use it openly for everything else, because
Great.
the town
Okay.
never approved us having
Of
an
that, of
email
that.
for
Okay.
everything else. The town requested and approved for us to have a web portal to receive photos for
Okay.
the photo contest.
Great.
Not
Okay,
anything
great.
else.
So we haven't
Now-
crossed anywhere outside
Now,
that.
we're going to ask for a narrow exception for the Limerick contest, right?
Okay.
And this is where, so it's one thing to say, hey, we're going to have it for the photo contest, but we're going to ask for an exception. Do you see that sounds more palatable than to say, hey, we're going to have this email address. Anybody can submit whatever they want to the Portola Valley Cultural Arts Committee. That sounds more like more liability, so less likely. So
Great.
this is all about strategies on how we can push through the budget. Okay. Creative fair. Let me tell you guys the total budget. And I think we're right on time. So our total budget for next year is $4,450. That includes from the most expensive to the least expensive. The photo exhibit of $3,050. The speaker event for $1,000. That's two speaker events at $500 per event. Creative affair at $300 and Limerick contacts for $100 for the total of $4,450. Does anybody have any feedback? Or this will be the number I will submit. Yes, Jerry.
Remember, our budgets used to be $14,000, $16,000, $20,000 because we ran all the summer concerts. So
Yes.
graciously gave us $3,000 on this new budget. So we're just a little bit over that, and I think it's fine, and we're back doing the kinds of things we need to do as a cultural arts committee. So thank you to everybody that sponsored
Yeah.
the events this time, like Stacy and Steve and you,
Right.
for supporting, and the people that came and helped.
I do think, I do feel comfortable about this budget because mostly is restaurant events we have done this year. So we're not doing it for the first time. Money aside, I think what I want us to do, the reason why I took over to be the chair is to keep the cultural arts committee alive in this town, right? Is, and I knew this year we want to go slow and steady. And so next year, hopefully we'll grow, and next year we'll be growing. We're adding the speakers events. And the year after that, once we've had 2 years of gelling and understanding how to work with the town, both the town government as well as the town of Portola Valley, hopefully we'll even grow more. But I think I feel very comfortable about this budget we have, and I feel very comfortable about the line of events we have going. And given there are only 7 of us, I also think these events will help us, will not overwhelm us, because to Jerry's point, I do think next year, and I do hope that next year, that all of us will just contribute more to all the events, right? We really should be showing up to all the events. And then this is not too overwhelming for 7 people. We are 4 minutes over. So unless anyone has any other announcement, I will be preparing this budget and I will circulate it via email to everyone. I will be submitting it by the 15th, but I probably will submit it on the 14th to give us a little bit of room. I never do last minute. Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay,
Thanks.
sounds good. Oh, do we do the meeting adjourned? By the way, we forgot to do the land announcement.